Hi, I'm Adam Miller. I am the chef over at Bistro on Spruce in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. And today I'm going to be making a Tuscan vegetable crostini with crispy pancetta. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is take our pancetta and render the fat. So I have a pound of pancetta here. It's usually, you're able to find it at your local butcher's. Supermarkets carry a pre-cooked product, so for this recipe, it's not the best option. You really need the fat because that's where you get a lot of the flavor when you're sauteing your mushrooms and your artichokes and your cherry tomatoes. So, I got mine pre-sliced. It's going to save you a little bit of time, especially if your pancetta is at room temperature. It gets a little bit pliable and you know, it's just not the easiest to slice. So I have mine pre-sliced for me, and I'm just going to take it down a little bit more. So I'm going to go about inch wide slices, and then again about an inch, half inch the other way. Yeah, pancetta, it's a pork belly, but they cure it a little bit differently, and then they roll it on itself, and so you get a wheel. So this is the rendering. This I'm going to go a little bit lower on the heat because I want to really get all the good fat and everything out of it, and I want it to kind of be crispy, but not overly crispy. Next, we're going to take our mushrooms and quarter them. This is a crostini mushroom, so it's pretty much just a baby portobello. You can also use white button mushrooms, oyster mushrooms, pretty much any kind of mushrooms. So that's about maybe 16 whole mushrooms. So next we're going to take our cherry tomatoes and we're going to cut them in half. You can also quarter them if you want a little bit more color in your dish. You'll have different sizes and shapes, and then it helps really bring out the color of the dish and the textures of the dish. Serrated knife works a lot better than just a regular chef knife for this, because tomato skins are usually pretty tough, and just the saw action of the serrated helps. So I'm going to mix them all together in the end. First I'm going to add my mushrooms into the rendered fat, so that all that good flavor gets absorbed into the mushroom, because they absorb the best. And it is 2 cups of cherry tomatoes, which is about 1.5 pints. This is at about 3 minutes. Get a little color on the bottom and fat's starting to come off. So next we're going to zest 2 lemons. I like to use a microplane. You can also use a cheese grater. There's a zest attachment on that, or you're able to buy a zester that's a little bit longer and makes more of a strip that you can then chop down into a finer zest. So this microplaner, just around in a circle, because you do not want to get into this white part of the lemon. It's very bitter and have a very good flavor. What you want is to get all the oils and the color from the outer portion of the lemon peel. That's the size you want for this dish on your zest. You don't want too big of chunks or too small, because you want to see it and you want that oil to be incorporated. Next, we are going to take our thyme and our rosemary. We are going to need about 1 tablespoon and parsley. You just want a nice fine mince. It doesn't have to be too small. Parsley is going to mince up a lot smaller. I like to take it and just kind of give it a roll. It also helps get some of the oil out of the parsley, so you kind of get more of a bright flavor. Tablespoon of fresh parsley that we're going to add into our lemon, thyme, and rosemary mix. So So our pancetta has been rendered, and you can see how it's a nice kind of caramel color. So now in the same pan, you're going to want to add your mushrooms and the grease from your pancetta. You're also going to want to take your Uncle Dan's Italienne spice mix and add it in there at this time too. Ooh. This will all become incorporated. The mushrooms are really good about pulling in all that pancetta oil and just absorbing all the flavor that you have in your pan. It's really important that you use the same pan when you're cooking this, because all of the flavors, they all loosen up and they attach themselves to the other parts of your dish. So this will take about 5 minutes from start to finish, and you want to go about a medium heat. You can kind of see how the mushrooms are already starting to get that oil absorbed into them, and there's not as much. The mushrooms will also kind of shrink. They'll be about half the size of what you start with. I'm also going to add just a pinch of salt. It's about a teaspoon, and the same amount of black pepper, about a teaspoon. So now we have just a normal baguette. I like to take mine and slice it on a pretty extreme bias so that you get nice, long, thin strips. I'm going to take these baguettes and pop them in the oven for about 10 minutes. Place it on a sheet tray or a cookie tray. You kind of see how the spice is getting on the mushrooms, and you're getting some of the bacon or the pancetta remnants on there. So I have 4 cups of quartered artichokes. You can buy these at a local grocery store, or you can buy the fresh and clean the thistle from it and use fresh. Yeah, we're gonna let these cook up for about 3 or 4 minutes, and then we are gonna add our cherry tomatoes into them. You can kind of see that the mushrooms and the Uncle Dan's and the artichokes are starting to make this nice pan sauce. Just want to keep stirring this around, making sure that pan sauce is getting evenly coated all over your mushrooms and artichokes. All right, so we have the baguettes toasted. We're going to take our artichoke and mushroom mix, put it into a bowl, ensure that we're getting all of the good juice off of the bottom, all the extra little flavor. Next, we're going to take some of our pancetta, about half of it, fold it in, our cherry tomatoes, and our lemon, thyme, parsley, rosemary mix. Now we're going to take and fold together everything. You can really smell the lemon and the thyme once it gets in contact with all the hot mushrooms. And I like to garnish with a little bit more of the pancetta, just because everybody loves bacony stuff. And then just a little bit more of our fresh herbs and lemon zest on top. We'll just take the baguettes, and you can use it as a primitive spoon. Just a little light thing that you can sit around with your friends. And then just a little salt and pepper over your baguettes. So that is the Tuscan vegetable crostini with pancetta using the Uncle Dan's Italienne spice mix. Thank you.
I think it's delicious, especially there's some lemon flavor that really jumps out, but what I like about it is the lemon sort of balances with the all the spices from Uncle Dan's dressing in here. It's great, especially for like a summer kind of snacky thing like we're doing now.
Yeah, I thought it was excellent. I like the citrus notes that highlight and complement well with the seasonings and the tomatoes and the vegetables. It's great.
No, it's fantastic. The lemon zest, the lemon is absolutely wonderful. Blends, the flavors just blend together and it's very, very delicious.
A lot of flavors going on.
Absolutely wonderful. Right. There's so many different flavors. The harmony's great.
Yeah, there's just so many flavors going on, and that bacon, it just sizzles. It just sizzles. That's all I can say. It just sizzles. It's just so many flavors.
Being the company president, you get kind of put in a box, and you forget how good your product line really is. This is absolutely incredible how these flavors came together, and I just impressed the more and more people that use the product and the recipes that they come back with. It's amazing how versatile this product line is. You really need to give it a shot, but download this recipe, give it a run, and you're gonna love it. Trust me.